Donald Trump is very upset that people are questioning his claim that Iran's nuclear program was, quote unquote, completely obliterated, as he said time and time again, because it simply is not easy to say that in this time. And he has lashed out against MSNBC and CNN for reporting that fact, that it's not clear and easy to say that their program has been completely obliterated, because the analysis simply has not been done to be able to verify that 100%. But before we look at Donald Trump's outburst here at the media, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. So let's watch this little tirade together here.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that? The reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And, you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean.
Besides, accuse each other for violating the CC.
So his dementia is just on full overdrive. I mean, there's no other way to really explain the president's demeanor here. It's not verified that these targets that were hit in Iran were completely obliterated. And no matter how much Donald Trump wants that to be the case, where we just wiped Iran's nuclear program off the face of the earth, let me be clear. I would much rather have that be the outcome of these strikes than the alternative, right? I am not one that is here being a cheerleader for Iran's nuclear program, or, jumping up and down saying, yeah, they have the right to develop a nuclear weapon and they should be able to do so in peace and without being interfered with whatsoever. I'm not saying that, even though the way Donald Trump went about this is absolutely unconstitutional and illegal. I would rather Iran's nuclear program not exist than do exist, right? But the issue here is that if these targets weren't completely obliterated, as it is not clear that they have been, then this just might make this situation worse and even embolden Iran to continue their nuclear program and double down on it, double down their efforts to develop a nuclear weapon if this was not gone about in the right way, which many people are questioning, including Max Boot, who is a Council on Foreign Relations senior fellow, who described the attacks as tactically flawless, but added that it could backfire. Here's a bit about Max Boot here. He's a historian, an author, and a foreign policy analyst. He is the Janine J. Kirkpatrick Senior Fellow for National Security Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations and a weekly columnist for the Washington Post. What he had to say is that the operation was tactically flawless for sure. I mean, the airplanes got the strike package, got in, got out, probably hit their aim points, but we don't actually know what the consequences of all that is. As Dan was just saying, it's going to take some time to figure out how much damage they actually did. And it's quite possible, I mean, I'm not saying this is likely, but it's quite possible that they the attack could actually backfire if Iran retains enough highly enriched uranium and enough capacity to weaponize it, actually uses this attack as an impetus to acquire a nuclear weapon. At that point, nobody's going to look back and say, wow, what a tactically flawless strike, how great. It really depends on what the second and third order consequences are, which we're not going to know for some time. And you had JD Vance even kind of equivocate on whether or not this enriched uranium was completely destroyed, saying that he thinks that the enriched uranium was buried deep enough that it's going to completely set back their program, but the analysis simply hasn't been done. We have satellite images of the top ground level that significant damage was done, right? I'm not arguing that. Significant damage was certainly done to the top ground level of these nuclear facilities. But the thing is that we don't even know exactly how deep underground these facilities went. And we certainly do not have the capability to do a damage assessment on the deep underground parts of these facilities, which may, for all we know, still be somewhat intact, or at least enough intact to allow Iran to continue their nuclear weapons program. And you can best believe that Iran is certainly going to remember this strike for a long, long time. And if they are still able to continue to develop a nuclear weapon in the near future, then I'm not sure how anybody can call this strike a success. And, you know, you have 88% of Republicans who are in favor of the strikes, but if it comes out that Iran's nuclear program was not, as Trump continually says, and as he is all up, he has his panties in a knot here at MSNBC and CNN for simply saying, hey, we don't know if that's true or not. We can't do the analysis to say if it's the damage is levels of complete obliteration. Then how is anybody going to be able to look back on this moment in history and say, oh yeah, Donald Trump definitely did the right thing there? This ultimately would be one of Donald Trump's biggest blunders, and perhaps may cement his sort of legacy as one that hurt our country not only domestically but abroad, and put the lives of Americans, American soldiers, on the line completely needlessly in an attack that did not have the effect that we ultimately wanted it to have. Now, again, I would much rather that these attacks did have the effect that Donald Trump is saying they did, even though it's completely illegal what happened in the first place. I would rather that these strikes were not carried out at all, given the fact that it's not even verified that Iran was as close to developing a nuclear weapon as Trump and Hegseth and others keep saying that they were right on the brink of doing it. And you even had freaking Tulsi Gabbard, the director for national intelligence for Trump, one of his top, advisors, saying in recent times that Iran is far away from being able to develop a nuclear weapon. And then people pointed out exactly her words and reported her words verbatim, not twisting her arm or twisting her words, saying what she said verbatim. And then she had to come out and say, oh, the media is trying to drive a wedge between me and the president by reporting on exactly what I said, that Iran is nowhere near being able to develop a nuclear weapon. So ultimately, these strikes may have made our country way, way more unsafe and made Iran way more of a threat than they were beforehand, which would ultimately have the complete opposite effect that Donald Trump and Hegseth wanted to achieve. And it really just shows the haphazard nature of this administration, and they don't think things through, and they don't have the experience to really deal with these things, these world-shaping events that they are carrying out, and these decisions that affect everyone in the whole world. They don't have the wherewithal to make those sort of decisions, and this whole thing very, very much so may backfire on us as a country. I hope I'm wrong. That's all I got for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and let me know what you think about this. See you guys in the next video. Take care.